Our honeybook says, I think it said 95,000, but within like by February, our books were mostly booked out, and that's when our lives really changed. Because in like that 4 month booking period, we made, was it like 75?
Yeah,
Like
something just
75.
like
Yeah,
that.
we it happened. So the funny part about that was we were on calls, we were booking people, but we didn't bother to look back what we were actually making. Like Cora was still working at a coffee job. I was still taking on side hustle stuff. And it was just kind of crazy. Within like 4 months, we looked back. We're like, wait a minute, we can stop all that. Like,
Yeah.
we need to think about like us a little bit more. Like,
We
we just killed it in like 3 months. We found ads that really worked. We just left them on. And then it was just booking, 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 booking. It was there's weeks where booked 3 or 4 weddings, and then the next week's like one or two. And
but to have our entire year booked out and then now starting to book into 2024, like that is crazy. That never happened in the 5 years of business that we were
yeah.
doing before.
Awesome. Well, Spencer, Coral, again, thank you so much for hopping on this call to just do a client interview. Let's start with the good stuff because I know we haven't spoken in a while. So let's talk about like numbers, results, where we at.
Yeah, so I mean, we pretty much have passed that three-figure mark in our business this year, which we definitely did not expect to happen. Definitely it was like a goal, but from where we started at, it was a little bit far-fetched. At least we both felt like that. Um, but yeah, it's been really cool to see just how things have taken off and just kind of like progressed organically. And yeah, I think when we started with you and the whole system, it was kind of like, all right, this is do or die. Like we have to make this work or else we're literally going back to jobs that we hate. So it was kind of like go time for us. So we really just like, yeah, tried to focus on that. And it did take a while.
Yeah, but the crazy, I mean, I think we started with you back in like September is when we first kind of started testing out our ads, like the very rough drafts of like, let's just see what sticks kind of thing. Like, see what photos do well, see what ad copy actually catches people's attention. But within like by February, our books were mostly booked out. And that's when our lives really changed. Because in like that 4 month booking period, we made, was it like 75?
Yeah,
Like
something just
75.
like
Yeah,
that.
we it happened. So the funny part about that was we were on calls, we were booking people, but we didn't bother to look back what we were actually making. Like Cora was still working at a coffee job, I was still taking on side hustle stuff. And it was just kind of crazy. Within like 4 months, we looked back, we're like, wait a minute, we can stop all that. Like,
Yeah.
we need to think about like us a little bit more. Like, we
We
just killed it in like 3 months, 4 months. Like, we really gotta figure out what we just did and like keep going.
yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Because I mean, I don't think it's been like a year or yeah, I don't think it's been a year officially. I think like we're at like what, 9, 10 months, something like that. So that's a
Hmm.
big change. I mean, do you know like total overall like how much you guys have done?
Like cash flow,
Yeah, revenue
I
Um
think
wise.
our honeybook says, I think it said 95,000. But like
Nice.
between other like little things that we booked,
yeah, like on
like
the side or whatever that didn't come through
yeah.
Honeybook. So
But it's
yeah.
cool though, because like it gave us like, for instance, like there's like the 95 pages from wedding bookings, but we with our ads we chose to target our audiences like in New York, in LA, like all these places where we really wanted to shoot. And because it is like out of state for us, we'll like take a week of our, just basically if the shoot wedding's on a weekend, we'll take the week to go hang out with friends. But also Coral's really good at networking, and she's able to like get other like little like mini sessions. So yeah, we might be making, 5K on the weekend, but then also it's like $300 or $400 kind of sprinkled in just for these little quick like mini sessions with potential like brides and groom, which is cool too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So you guys get to travel, but then also while you're there doing a few mini shoots.
Yeah, I think for our first wedding this year, it was in Manhattan, and we were just going to be there a couple extra days. So I ran an ad for just like Central Park mini sessions, And within like the first day, I had to turn the ad off because I had too many messages and like too many people to get back to, and I'd already like booked them out. So, and it was like a couple $100 for 30-minute session, and we met some awesome couples and like had the best time running around the city. So yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to dive into a little bit of your background because you were saying like do or die.
Mhm.
But like before we get into that, like what was kind of like the biggest lessons or takeaways from just the program? Because like you guys definitely had like a big shift.
Yeah, I think as far as what we took away most from the program, I would say um I really enjoyed the part about like creating habits that boost confidence and just like productivity in yourself, because naturally who you are as a person and how you feel is going to be reflected in the way that you carry yourself and the way that your business is run, and basically trickle into everything. And I think at that point we were both kind of at a low where we just really needed to come back to ourselves and do the things that made us feel good, and just remind ourselves like, what we are capable of. So I enjoyed that part a lot. Obviously like the advertising and like psychology behind that is really fascinating. So there were a lot of points that like I'd never thought of before, but that was kind of what I took away.
Yeah, and also too, I mean, I think we both benefited it from it, but me especially is like the self-confidence in your work. Just kind of like basically you have something that people want and just own it. You make good stuff and just kind of go into the calls knowing like you have something that they want, which is always nice. Because I think a lot of like calls we always try to like barter with people, like, please book us, like, we could do
It used to
better,
be
or,
that way,
we
yeah.
can't do this and we can do that. And now the calls nowadays are just like, yeah, this is like we're Spencer and Coral, we want to be your photographers, let's talk about how we can help you.
Mhm.
It's a lot simpler, but a lot of it starts with that self-confidence, like just knowing right off the bat we make good stuff. And I like to walk into calls knowing, or that I would like to think that they've looked at our work and they know that we make good stuff. So a lot of it is just trying to see how Coral and I can fit into their day versus us like really trying to sell them something, which is nice because I feel like naturally Coral and I are very communicative, like we're very like talkative people, and we really like to get to know people and dig down, and kind of figure out where people's like pressure points are. So I guess it is kind of like a way more natural sales pitch, which I like.
Mhm.
Yeah. Where do you think all of this confidence is coming from? Because, I speak with a ton of photographers and a lot of people, they recognize like, hey, we do a great job, but they just cannot verbalize that confidence. It's like they choke up when it comes time to talking in front of a couple.
Yeah, it definitely came in time. What does not something that just happened. It I think it took a lot of no's. Because that was one thing that we weren't used to. And because
Mhm.
getting more inquiries in the door, we got told no a lot more, which obviously hurt the ego. But at the same time, we also raised our prices. So anybody that said yes, we were like, like we're getting paid more and we got the booking. Like, I don't care about all these other people that said no. Um, but so yeah, a lot of the comments just came from that naturally, just like seeing the people that said yes were like, oh, these are actually the people that I want to shoot. Like, yes, this person might have told me no, but when I think about it, they actually had a lot of red flags that I don't think that we would have matched perfectly anyway. So being able to like that gives me confidence. Like anyone that we book is going to be like the perfect client, which we've already shot a couple of our weddings this year, and they're like so much fun.
Yeah. I agree with Spencer. I feel like it did come in time a little bit. Like when we first launched ads, we were at that kind of like comfortable rate of where we thought like, okay, people will book us at this rate. And once we got a couple of those, we were like, oh, okay, it boosts your confidence a little bit. You think, maybe I could raise them to what I want them to be. And for some people, who knows, maybe you can wake up and just like be confident, like just switch it on like that. But I think it does take time and just like, I don't know, proving
Yeah.
to yourself, I think.
Because like when we're booking in New York and LA and stuff, like to us it's almost like a bragging right thing. Is like we just someone from New York thought we were cool enough and now we get to fly there. Like, and that, definitely puts us a little bit higher, I guess. Sounds very like a little bit egotistical, but it just gets us excited to work and
Yeah.
talk to more people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, pricing wise, what were your prices like when you were starting the ads? Then what are we at now?
I think they started around like that 3,000-ish, but I think our most expensive was 5,000.
But yeah. Also, go ahead.
But yeah, I think also we really simplified our packages, and we found that to be really effective because sometimes we would even be on calls and they would ask us a question about, a certain thing in a certain package, and we would have to go back and look, and like that just reflects a little bit badly on us because we're confused, they're confused. So we just made it super, super simple where we have an in-state rate, out-of-state rate, and international, and it's just boom, like flat rate. There's no extra like travel fees or anything. And I think we've had several couples that just say like how much they appreciated that because it just made their decision easier. So
but now our in-state rate's at like that $5,000 mark, which is really nice because like right off the top, we're basically being paid what we think that we're worth and that we're excited to work for. When we were doing those $3,000 weddings, I felt like we would kind of, you'd book it, you get excited, then a year later when the wedding happens, you're kind of like bummed, like that was only three. I did all that work for $3,000. So $5,000 helps a lot, but then keeping it simple helped a lot too with booking add-ons and doing like little special things, and which makes selling those a lot easier because you're not nickel and diming people on hours or like minimum photo stuff. People don't worry about hourly rates or anything. Then they can look at the add-ons like, oh, a day before session does sound pretty good, or like, some other like film photos sound pretty good too. So it's makes those way easier to sell, which takes our minimum package of like $5,000, and sometimes we get paid like 6,500 because they add on so much stuff.
Yeah, and that's 5K for photo and video both, or just each?
Oh no, just each.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we did, yeah, because Coral's the photographer, I'm the video guy, and we were trying to like get people to like bundle, I guess, like, oh, buy one get one half off, but eventually we just found out like no, if they really like our work, they'll just get both, and we're super stoked to work with the people that have got both at both prices that we're stoked with.
Gotcha. So sounds like you're working with really ideal clients. You're happy, raise the prices. One thing that I was kind of impressed by is how much you took the advertising knowledge and you started applying it.
I mean, I don't want to sound too confident, but I think we're going to be pretty lethal this year. Like we learned, I mean, even when we started with like the rapid bookings and go through all the marketing courses, we thought we knew what our ideal client was.
We did not.
No, because I was like, I want to do exploring. I want to get these like elopement couples, and then we see like why people are attracted to our work, and they're like, oh, I really like this, this, and that, and then we realized, oh yeah, our work does have all that, and then we would start catering towards that a little bit more, which came naturally because we just loved those kind of photos, but people kind of gave it like the keywords that we were
gave it the name, and then we kind of learned from being on calls with people what they liked, and so we were able to like keep those things in mind or write them down, and try to find more people that like that style.
Yeah, so when it comes to like these next rounds of ads, I mean, we know exactly what photos we're going to use, we know what people are looking for, we know what our people are looking for, what they want to hear. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I think for anyone watching this that has never run an ad or never ran an ad like successfully, the best way to describe ads, it's kind of like tuning a guitar. I don't know if any of you ever played guitars. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, there we go. It's basically like, if you're tuning it by ear, it's like, okay, getting there. Oh, I tighten it too much. Let's loosen it up. And it's like, ooh, sounds just right. And that's kind of with the ads too. You need your copy to resonate and go exactly with the ideal client. And then also the images have to really work. Now, what it sounds like is like, you guys were kind of humble enough to realize, what, we don't really know our ideal client. I know a lot of people I speak with, they're like, I've been in business for X amount of years. I know my ideal client. And like, I don't want to work on that foundational stuff. How did you guys get your mindset past that, where you're like, you know what, maybe we should revisit this?
I think before we thought that our ideal client was just anybody who was excited to work with us, and obviously like, you don't want to like discriminate against anybody, and so it was kind of like, oh well, whoever wants to work with us, like that's who we want to work with kind of thing. But I think we tried to break it down like, well, what places would we like to work in? Like, how much do we want to get paid for those things? Like, and I think for us too, it's important that our personalities like vibe with our couple. So somebody who's going to be kind of similar to us, and that like, they want chill, they want laid back, they want the more like candid journalistic style. That way we're not like directing all day, because that's just not how we like to work. So I think you can kind of sense that too when you talk to people and when they're asking questions, like whether they're going to be very kind of like, I don't want to say like bridezilla, but like, like they have like these expectations that, if we feel like, okay, the it's not meshing very well, then yeah, those are kind of.
Yeah, and we're still working on like what our ideal client is too. Like it does change quite a bit. But we've definitely locked in. Like I was, like I said earlier, like I want to do elopements. Like that was my perfect people. But now my perfect people are just the most laid back people on earth.
Yeah, it's
the
like
couples that really love each other. They love the art that goes into, and like the work that goes into like photography and videography. And those are our perfect people. Just people that respect a wedding. They know what they're getting into. Like it sounds weird, but like, yeah, you know what you're getting into on a wedding day, and they love it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing about ads is it's kind of like expedites your learning process as to who you really enjoy working with, because you get in front of so many couples in an area, you get so many inquiries that right away you can start seeing patterns. Like these are like red flags for me. These are exactly what I want. Like when you get just a handful of inquiries per month or every single year, it's not a whole lot of experience. You just don't connect those dots. But when you have like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 inquiries a month, right away you're like, I don't want you. I want to work with you. And then if you pair that up with like having a knowledge of how to approach the couples in terms of sales, yeah, you become lethal like Spencer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what's cool too. It's like once we say yes to the right people, then we can go into the calls just being ourselves, which is what we like the most. Like we still have like the script up, and just so maybe we could stay on topic, but a lot of our conversations flow really naturally. Like we like to keep it as natural as possible, because we know that we have another 30 people to talk to. So it's just like if it's not vibing, it's not vibing. I got 30 other people to go talk to.
Yeah. And that's something we learned too with like the sales script. I think at first we were very like trying to stick to the script and trying to be very professional. But that's also just not really who we are. So it felt forced for us, and I think that also probably came across. But the moment that we kind of like, not saying like throw it out the window kind of thing, but like
I said,
once
we
we
get the
tweaked
bullet
it enough
points. Yeah.
to fit our personalities, it became so natural, and I feel like, I don't know, people responded way better to just the questions and the way the conversation was going.
Yeah. Because, there's two different things. Like we teach the sales framework and the psychology, and then the script just to help you guys out. The script is kind of like if you're just getting to acting, this is your first role ever, you're gonna overact this thing and it's gonna feel forced. But then when you have a little bit of experience, it's like more improv style. You know exactly what you're trying to convey to the audience, and the emotions just come out naturally. You don't have to say everything word for word. So it sounds like that's kind of the point where you're at. You know exactly like kind of the checklist you need to hit, but you're okay to kind of veer off and make it more conversational.
For sure. Yeah. We definitely like to get we like to keep things personal, but also we are here to make sure, like, I don't want to end a call and not know anything about their wedding day, or
Yeah.
like, so, because when it comes to actually like sending them like the proposal and like giving them our pricing guide and all of our add-ons. Like I want to be able to direct them to, oh, you might be interested in this or that, not just like, oh crap, actually I don't know what they're going to do the day before or the day after. So like it's good to like get to know them, but also keep it, on track.
Yeah, cool. Well, sounds like things are really good. You guys are having fun, but let's rewind the clock a little bit, like I said. And I want to visit this topic just to see, like, where you guys came from, and also for inspiration for others that might be watching
Yeah.
this, whether they're a student inside our program or just watching this in general.
Mhm.
You said do or die. What was kind of going on?
Kind of get it closer to Coral.
Yeah, I mean, we were just at a point in our life and especially financially where we were really struggling. And so
We made a lot of bets that just did not end up working
mhm,
out.
made a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was really hard because of course, we've been working 5 years ish to be able to be full time in our business, and we've always had those side jobs that are basically the real money makers. And but our passion is doing this. So when I saw your ad and kind of looked into the program a bit more, we were both a little bit like, okay, like this looks like it might not work, but I don't know. Like, I just had a feeling that if it did, it would completely change our lives. And, I think when I talked to you too, I was just really honest about, where we were at, how much we could invest in this. But that's kind of when it was like, all right, we're going to spend the money, we're going to take responsibility. And like, there's no going back. Like, we're sprinting ahead because that's what we got to do.
Well, because I'm also pretty sure the fee to get in and like get all the courses and everything was about like kind of the last pennies we had.
Yeah.
That's why it was like, okay, rent's paid, this is all good. What else do we have to lose, kind of thing. It's like, you know what, screw it, like we're just gonna go for it. It's either this or we go back to like, I go back to construction, she goes back to coffee, and then we can just forget about this photography dream that we've been trying to make happen for 5
Yeah, it
years.
was kind of that last like, if this doesn't work, then this is not happening for us. Like, we were just kind of at that point. So yeah, we definitely worked as a team to like go through all the material, go through the program, and it's a lot. Like, it's
Yeah.
very in depth.
I got to give props to anybody that's doing this solo, because like, I would take the technical side and Coral would try to like, lock in the copy or something, and I would just get all the Facebook ads running. But doing it solo, man, that's rough.
So how did you guys move past that fear? Because like a lot of people in the same situation, they might say like, you know what, if it's my last dollar, I don't want to invest it. What if it all goes wrong? What if, I end up worse?
Right. And I mean, we were no stranger to that at that point. It was like, this is either going to be another bad decision or like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. So it was a very high risk for us. But I think we moved past the fear because we knew we had to. I think we would have regretted it had we just thrown our hands up and say, you know what, maybe this photography business is just not going to work, and it's not for us. Like, there's not a place for us in this business. But I think
they have
having the confidence in ourselves, like, no, we know we can do this. We know that this is what we want to do. So like, let's just go all in.
Yeah. And the power of pressure, I mean, we called it having a fire under our ass, but like the power of pressure is huge. Like, I don't think we would have pushed ourselves to get the ads done as fast as we did, but also too, we had honest conversations with ourselves. Be like, if we're going to make it happen, let's just try to be authentically ourselves. And like, what does that look like? And also being open to change things as couples were kind of giving us keywords to the words to our work, kind of deal, which was nice. But yeah, it definitely, pressure made it happen, which is,
you have to be willing to put in the work to get the results. And I think we definitely were willing to put in the work, and we did.
Yeah. And the fear definitely, it was still there until like February or March when we finally stopped and took a look back, then the fear was gone. We're like, oh, we did it. I didn't know we did it, but we did it. Like we were just work mode and being scared the entire time, but eventually just kind of sat back, looked back, like, oh, we can kind of pump the brakes a little bit and chill.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it sounds like you guys didn't want to have the regret. Like, we didn't give it that one final push before we just gave up and said, we're just going to go get a job.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like when you're doing a really hard workout and it's like that last rep and you're like, you know, you're struggling, but then like you finish, and you're like,
Yeah.
man, I got it.
Yeah, we were, I mean, it was also too like the situation of like us both going back to work, we were just not fans of it. We knew how much that destroyed us mentally and physically, and we just did
Yeah.
not want to go back to that. That was the last resort. So
Yeah, 100% makes a ton of sense. And I mean, you said a lot of bad bets. Was it like bad bets with trying to grow the business? Obviously, we don't have to like get into details that you don't want to.
No, not literal bets. It was mostly just like, I'm trying to think. We like
Bad
we try to like start side businesses.
investments, I would say, yeah, like not kind of spreading ourselves out thin and not really just focusing on our business. Like we had other things that we were kind of pursuing as well, and none of those things panned out, and so we lost a lot of money.
Or then just like
Basically all
taking the jump
money.
without a real plan kind
Yeah.
of deal, or just like burning through savings and just like, we'll just make it work. We got, a couple months, we'll figure it out. And we just never really having a good plan. So I guess the bets are like a little bit of ourselves, a little bit of just bad money management, just like, I guess,
Yeah.
growing pains, but
we always use the term that you said where you're like, I think it just sounds like you guys are throwing spaghetti out the wall and seeing what
Oh, yeah.
sticks. And
Yep.
we always like say that now too, but
spaghetti
that's
plans.
pretty much where we were at. We were just like, oh, I don't know, let's try this, but nothing ever worked.
I can't believe you remember that. That was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, so many months ago. You remember that. Wow.
Yeah.
Because it's so true. It was like, okay, actually, I'm gonna get into real estate photography, and then just like blasting my work out to people, never having to take a photo of a house before, spending way too much time trying to get that set up, and just nothing ever
Yeah.
came of it because I didn't know the right people. Or like start a YouTube channel. Like maybe we could do how-to stuff, and then like that never takes off because we were trying to also juggle 1,000 other things, and it was bad. It was really bad.
Yeah. I mean, real quickly to put you guys on spotlight, like what other kind of side hustles? Because I know other people are probably thinking the same things too. That didn't
Yeah.
pan out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I tried I mean, I tried like streaming, doing like video game stuff. I tried to do like the real estate photography. I did car photography for a little bit because I had a couple connections in there. Other little things like editing too, like for other videographers in the area. I do a lot of editing for people. Just like anything that required me to be at my computer and have a camera in my hand, I tried to do, but and then
Yeah. And I had like, a network marketing business that I was doing for a hot second. And like, also I was still working in coffee and
then you try to do like a reselling, like like a fashion reselling thing, which
Yeah.
looked cool,
I
but
mean, they were all great ideas and like in theory, but none of them were ever. And I guess the reason why we pursued those things was because our business wasn't sustaining us.
Right.
So we tried to venture into other things, but when we just, hunkered down and focused on our business and really growing that, it was just like, it blossomed.
yeah. But now it's cool with like the side hustle thing. I mean, I love making YouTube videos, but because I put my business first, now I have the time to do all those other things.
Mhm.
It's like when I'm not shooting a wedding and I don't have any editing, other than like a couple calls and like emails that take like maybe an hour or two a day. Now I can focus on like YouTube videos or playing video games and being nerdy.
Or, like,
And
he picked up guitar, like
Yeah.
just things like that. Like now we have the time for it because before we were just working constantly.
yeah.
But it's more for fun, not like you're still chasing a paycheck out of that.
Exactly. Yeah. It took the definitely trying to make a side hustle out of everything that we were like had fun doing. I guess that's where we really lost that in translation too. We were like, oh, this is fun for us. We should make money. It's like, no, you can also enjoy
Yeah.
it. Like you don't have to put your heart and soul into something just so you can make money. You can also just do it for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, if you could rewind the clock and like use a time machine to go back and tell yourselves something about those side hustles, what would you say?
So just wait. Just
Oh man,
wait.
I would just say stop what you're doing. What do you want to be doing in 5 years? Focus on that. And I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Also, too, like we definitely lost track of like what we like doing because we do photo and video together. All these side hustles were separate, so
Yeah.
that was also another huge thing. We were always doing something separately from each other, and they never worked out. But now we're working as a team. Now it's working.
Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, now we've said several times, even just since our wedding season started, like we feel like so much more of a team now, like better than we've ever been. And yeah, people see that too. They're like, I love you guys. Like, you go work so good. Oh, I can't talk. Work so good as a
Yeah.
team. And yeah, it's
We've
nice.
got that telepathy going. We've been married long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, things were working in the business. So that led you guys to do all these side hustles. And anybody watching this, like, come on, don't do it. Like, think about it this way. Like, if you could be successful at anything, like, it's like a magic wand. You just say, like, I'll be successful at this, and it comes true. What is that one thing? And chase after it. And don't let anything else come in the way. There's going to be tons of distractions, especially on the internet. People are going to say, you know what, do this. You're going to be rich overnight, live the best life. But think about it like, what do you want? And don't let fear kind of creep in, right? And that's kind of what you guys did. You had to do some trial and error, but eventually you realized, you know what, photography and video together as a team, that's our life.
Yeah, and to like to be honest, like we worked really hard for 6 months. And then we were able to kind of take a step back. We got to hang out with each other more often, travel together, and like actually enjoy ourselves after we did all the hard work. Like you do have to treat it like a job sometimes. You do have to put the hours in to make sure everything's dialed in, make sure you're caught up on emails with people. But once your year's booked out, like happened to us in like March, we had like most of our year booked out. We're like, oh, like I guess I can go do something for fun now. I guess now we can go to the movies and like hang out. Like there's a time for everything.
Yeah.
Granted, like going into this year, like it's way more chill because we know what to expect. But like, yeah, we definitely had to do the hard work. I wish it was super easy, but I mean, but now it feels really easy because we did all the hard work. Now that's the foundation's there.
Yeah. What problems or challenges were you guys facing just in the wedding business before joining us inside Rapid Bookings?
Dude, I mean, it's still a problem now, but like pricing is huge. Like trying to price yourself above budget, but like not too much where people are like, oh my God, like we get sticker shock. So
Yeah.
that's we're still dialing it in, but I think we're in a good sweet spot.
Yeah. And I think with that too, like same thing with confidence. Like it does come with time and with experience too, where you feel like, your work has maybe improved quite a bit. So now you can, charge those higher prices or what have you. But I mean, we definitely did not receive like nearly half the inquiries that we received even just within the first like month or two after launching ads. Like we would get inquiries trickling in throughout the year and then maybe book like some last minute weddings. That's how it used to be. But to have our entire year booked out and then now starting to book into 2024, like that is crazy. That never happened in the 5 years of business that we were
Yeah.
doing before. So
Yeah, that was definitely a huge problem though in the book in our business before Rapid Bookings is getting told no because it was like that one booking that one inquiry that you got. So like being told no is like that was such a huge blow to the ego. It's like, well, I'm not shooting anything for 6 months and I maybe could have shot something in like, coming up soon, but they told me no. And it's just like you never know when the next one's coming in. So it's just really heartbreaking. That was a huge issue before we started running ads.
yeah, because if you're only getting, 1 to 5 inquiries a month, you need to book those. Like you kind of go into the call being like, okay, like I need to book this. But if you have a multitude and like people that you can choose from that you want to work with, then it's like you don't feel the pressure to have to give anybody a discount or have to really sell people on anything. Like it's a lot easier. So I think just getting people in the door, like through the funnel and everything, that was huge for our business.
Yeah, because you're going into the conversation not feeling needy. And everybody knows this. Like, if you have like a friend that's like super needy or desperate, it's like they throw people off. Like, people don't like needy people. Versus, like, if you can go into a conversation, be yourself, have fun, people are like, oh, I kind of vibe with them. Like, I do want to work with them. It's a different scenario.
Yeah, you can feel it. I mean, even
Yeah.
even over Zoom, you can really feel people's body language changing and the tone of their voice. Like they start speeding up, they start talking really fast. Like, oh, okay, you just want off the call. Like I get it. Like or something I said maybe is not vibing with them. But yeah, there you can definitely feel people out way better. And also it's on the other side too. People can feel you being nervous or being pushy.
Yeah, 100%. And sounds like things were slow. So what were you guys doing marketing wise? Because, only a few inquiries like trickling in per year, it's no good.
I mean,
Nothing.
we
Honestly, nothing.
well, I was trying to be really consistent on like Instagram. That was kind of like the main source where people found us before Rapid Bookings. But even with that, like, I mean, just the time spent in trying to be consistent and trying to like schedule things out.
Keep track of algorithms.
Yeah, the algorithms and everything, like, that is just pretty much out the door. Like, there's nothing you can do to get more eyes on your business unless you are doing paid advertising, essentially. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of what we realized. And yeah, so that was like a huge insight for us because we didn't think about doing that before. I
Because what
don't
else
know why.
we ran a couple boosted ads though in the past. We thought like
Yeah,
a photo looked cool, so we like, oh, let's boost
but
this.
it didn't really do anything.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I also remember, I don't know if you guys remember this, on our first call, you guys were talking about, hey, I think I'm going to go join the knot. And I was like,
Yeah.
don't do it. Don't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we've had several other photographers and friends asking us about like what websites we're on, and we're like,
None of them.
none.
None of them.
Yeah. So what made you guys like want to get help? At what point were you like, you know what, enough is enough? Like, I've tried a lot of these things, but it's not going anywhere.
Hmm. I think it was just a compilation of us trying for the past several years, and then also, being in that dire financial place that we were in. It was just kind of like, okay, if this is our last dollar, this is what we're going to use it on and have no regrets. And if we fail, we know we tried everything. And but we had faith that things would work out and that we were willing to put in the work. So, and also you gave us a guarantee, and that was very a kind thing to do. So I felt confident, like, okay, if Mahmoud is this confident, I feel like I can be confident in it too.
Yeah, well, it's because I believed in you guys. That's definitely a huge part of it. But other than me and my confidence, what else made you feel like, hey, we should work with Rapid Bookings?
I think just because the way that like I think you showed us a little bit of the structure and like how it's going to work, it all made sense. Like okay, I can take this in like a bite size, like you know pieces, and I could learn something. But also do being into it, I'm glad we did it because everything that I learned, I couldn't just Google it and YouTube it. Even like some stuff I was struggling with, like your videos were still way more clear than going on YouTube and trying to figure out how to work the business suite and stuff like that. Granted that's when we were in it, but like Rapid Bookings definitely helped us. Like the reason why like I thought we would work with you is just also having face-to-face conversations. It wasn't just like a marketing team's helping you. It's like no, there's people that you can come talk to weekly and we'll figure something out that works for you, which is what we really liked. Because oh boy, we get a lot of questions, and like it wasn't something I could just type up on an email or like send off to a chat support team. It's like no, I needed to talk to somebody.
Yeah, we felt like it was going to be customized enough to us, or at least having that access to like the community and asking questions, but also like enough video content for us to kind of, you know, learn these things as well. So it was like a good mix of both, I think.
Yeah. So was like the community and the support, the kind of the face to face connection that you guys had was like the biggest benefit for you guys?
As far as like being confident in the system, yeah, I think so. Just because it feels more personable, it feels like you can put a face to, you know, this team that is helping you, and it's not just like you said, like Googling something, or like it feels very personalized.
But also, I like seeing everybody else in chat, which being it's okay to know that you're
Yeah.
also if you're struggling with something, everybody else is kind of deal. Or like not everybody like on the same thing, but you know, if you're having issues with people saying no or whatever, there's people also struggling with that, and you can just spam it out. Can we chat, or like can we just like rant about this real quick? Which is always kind of fun.
Yeah. Sometimes, people do think that like they're like, hey, I can go on like YouTube and try to learn something. And I'm always like, trust me, man, like I also have a YouTube channel. I'm not giving away the real good stuff for free, and nobody is. Like, no one's gonna sit there and tell you how to make six figures in your business on a free YouTube channel. Um, I mean, Spencer, what would you say to that person if there's a person out there that's like, I'll just YouTube it?
That's my brother and my brother-in-law and sister right now. They're like, oh, we'll just figure it out. I'm like, no, like I mean, your time is valuable. Like, you really got to kind of spend money to give yourself more time, because you could spend hours and days YouTubing and Googling it. So it's nice to have somebody that's one on your side, wants you to make money, and also is there to help you. So it's just like, yeah, don't try to figure it out yourself, because you got to focus on being a photographer, focus on being a videographer.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what kind of sold us too. It's like, I'm a video guy. I like editing. I like telling stories. I don't know how to talk to Meta. I don't know what a like a pixel is. Like all these little
Yeah.
things like that would take me days to figure out like just what it is
Mhm.
before I even think about installing it. So yeah.
Wanted to ask you guys, like, okay, cool. You're in the program, joined somewhere like September last year. How soon after did you guys book your first wedding? If you
Was
remember.
it? I'll say I'm trying to if I remember. I remember. Oh man.
I would definitely say it was less than a month, right?
Yeah, I said it was pretty quick. But it was funny. A lot of our first inquiries that we did get took the longest to book, which I thought was funny too. So some
Yeah.
of our people came back like 6 or 7 months later, like, actually, we're ready. You're like, oh, the date's booked, it's gone.
Yeah, that did happen.
I think like by the first month we got a booking, which was like obviously a rocky road to start with, and then by like month and 2 and 3, I feel like we found ads that really worked. We just left them on. And then it was just booking, 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 booking. There's weeks where booked 3 or 4 weddings, and then the next week's like 1 or 2, and yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah. I want to ask you guys, like, if someone's on the fence, right? They're like in your shoes where you guys were like a year ago. It's like, yeah, we don't have a lot of finances. Not sure if we can get the help right now. Like, what would you say to them if they're on the fence about joining Rapid Bookings, but they have that fear, like, shit, what if it all goes down south and we lose the last bit of money that we have?
It's literally like I said, it's like my brother and sister-in-law. Like they're also really talented videographers, but they just don't have eyeballs on their work, which is exactly what we had. So I'm trying to convince them to like put money where your mouth is, kind of deal. Like if you think, like if you want this to work and you have the skills to make it work, like there's no doubt about it. Just go for it, because they're like, what else are you going to do? You're going to be struggling forever. You're going to be working for other people. Like
Yeah.
I it's so hard not to talk about our schedule without it sounding like we're bragging, because it's a lot of just spending time together and like just or personal time doing our own personal things. So it's like in a month that could change. In 2 months, your life could be drastically different than it is now. In 3 months, you'll be relaxing and just chilling. You don't have to worry about finances. So it's like it's really hard to think 3 months ahead, because just naturally how humans are, it's really hard to plan that far ahead and be excited for that. But put the work in now, 3 months later, your life will change. And that's basically how we're living.
Yeah. I would say I mean, I really like the saying, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you're not willing to take that risk and invest in yourself, then you're just going to keep repeating the same patterns, which is what we did for so many years. And yeah, I think just once you make that leap, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like jumping off a cliff, you know? Like you gotta find a way and you will. That's kind of, you just have to have the confidence that it'll happen.
Yeah, and just like talking to you guys, like frankly, I personally am like the type of person like I would rather not be 80 years old and look back on regret and say, what if I tried this? Because I know
Mhm.
one thing that's granted is like time, it's passing us by every single day. Like money,
Mhm.
obviously you can earn money back. You could do a lot of different things. So I would rather try to lose money, gain back time, and not have regret in my life than to never reach my potential. And I think the biggest thing is you have to believe in yourself and be like, I can do it. I'll figure it out. If someone's willing to help me out, awesome.
Yeah. It's definitely all comes down to mindset, which is, you know, a huge thing that you touch on in the program as well. But everything just kind of comes down to that, you know? Like if you have a good mindset and if you are, you know, you're willing to spend the money knowing that having the confidence that it's going to be coming back to you, like, you know, threefold, fourfold, whatever, then yeah, it's going to be, things are going to turn out a lot better than if you're like, well, all right, here's my last dollar. And you're like, you know, hesitant to let go of it. It's just,
I mean, we granted, I was definitely like shaking in my boots where we're like sending over some money, like that's it, it's okay, that's it, like we got to make this work. Um, so like yeah, the pressure helped a lot, but yeah, I definitely think if someone's on the fence with it, you really got to commit to it. It's almost like putting trust back in yourself. It's like okay, cool, like this is it's it or nothing. So if I, I have to trust myself that I'm going to make this work because I want it to work.
Yeah. What about advice for the new students that are coming to the program? What would you tell them?
I would say be patient with yourself. Um, there's a lot to learn and a lot that is just going to take time to learn and tweak and um, make it feel like, you know, you and how you want to run your business. Because none of us are the same, right? And so, yeah, just be patient and just don't give up. Just keep going. Like the light is ahead of you, I promise.
Yeah, I would say also just be honest with yourself. Like we learned a lot about ourselves as creatives and also our business in like the first 3 months. So it's okay to change. I mean, I think everybody makes really good stuff. It's just trying to put the right words to, sell it makes it easy. Obviously will make it a lot easier, but also just being humble enough to make those changes and not be like, no, 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 like this is me, like this is my good stuff. It's like, no, well, people are attracted to this. You should push that instead. And that's what we did. And it's
Mhm.
obviously got to be humble, got to be honest, and you got to make those changes.
Well, awesome. Thank you guys. Well, really appreciate you like being open, honest, showing a little vulnerability by talking about the past. I think this is going to be a big inspiration because I know a ton of people that are like where you guys were and they're going to look at this and be like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it too. And I think that's the entire purpose of this interview.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
Also, too, like I remember you sent us videos like, oh, look at this guy, look at that guy. I'm like, but he's got something special. But he's like, this guy's like crazy good or whatever. And then now here we are on Zoom
Yeah,
having
it's
this thing. I was like, well, no, 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 no. But now I'm that person that people are going to see like, well, they got something special. They had that like the little like
very
extra
true. They
sauce.
do, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Like, no, no, I was the construction worker, broke as a joke. I had nothing out left. I was like, screw it, I'm gonna be a full-time videographer. And then now here I am.
yeah,
So
the secret sauce is you in your business. That's all it is. Each one of us has our own unique abilities and personalities, so that's it.
Love that. Does it sometimes feel like you're still dreaming? You're gonna wake up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
all the time today, it's like it happens when I'm like running errands midweek, and I'm like, because my dream was like when I was working in construction, I would see people walking their dogs on like a Tuesday afternoon. I'm like, and I'm
Yeah.
sweating bullets on a roof. I'm like, I want to be walking my dog on a Tuesday afternoon, and now I do that. So, so I
Love it.
definitely have to pinch myself every once in a while.
Yeah.
Cool. Love that. Well, thank you guys.